All right, what is up, everybody? 360 in the house. We are doing a pre-recorded market update video. It has been a long time in coming, but I think it's time because I do believe markets, especially crypto markets, are getting ready to go directional once again. But I want you guys to, if you've been following me for the last 3+ months, then you are already kind of on the same page and you kind of understand this macro point of view that we've been looking at. But so I'm going to briefly kind of cover that as well because it's progressed into a new stage. And that macro is that we all know that gold has been leading markets. Okay, gold has been the leading indicator for markets. That means it's really been the first mover, and then stocks have kind of followed. And crypto is going to follow as well. But we're in a new stage now because, and right now the chart I have up here is a monthly chart for gold. So you're able to look all the way back down here to the 1970s, okay, where this line kind of goes across. And you're going to see the price action of gold. And you're going to see very clearly that something has changed in a very dramatic way. And so remember, this is a monthly chart. So look at the last 2-month candles for gold, okay? Since breaking out of the 2,500 area, which is right around in here, this is the massive trend line breakout. Gold has entered into verticality, okay? And I'm really talking about the last 2 months. These are each monthly candles. So we're gonna kind of zoom in on this a little bit. Yeah. Now, this one still has 11 days left in it, but this was the first and largest and most prolific monthly candle. So while gold did get a breakout and started to climb higher, it's really increasing its rate of speed or verticality, or what we all know in the crypto world as the FOMO portion of its market. Now, don't get it twisted. That does not mean I'm calling this a top. All I'm saying is that gold is within or inside of its FOMO stage. Where does it end? Who knows? That's anybody's guess. In the same way, Bitcoin back in 2017 absolutely went parabolic and ran within a few weeks from $8,000 to 20K. Anything can happen here. So calling tops on gold is a fool's errand. I did believe, and I still believe gold does hit 5,000 an ounce. Whether it goes above that and continues on into 6, 7, who knows? I don't know. All we do know is that it is in its FOMO portion. That means it's in its final rally. How long that rally lasts, I don't know. But this is verticality, okay? And when markets achieve verticality, it cannot sustain that for an extended period of time. So that being said, everything that we talked about before as far as stocks are getting ready to go vertical. Stocks have been great. We've been in a bull market, but stocks have not achieved their verticality yet. I believe that's coming soon. And then, of course, as everyone knows is coming, and that's the biggest part of the crypto bull market, and that's the altcoin season part, that is where crypto will achieve its verticality. But I like seeing this, because it does lead me to believe that everything we've talked about is coming into play, is reaching verticality, and I believe all markets, all asset markets, speaking specifically about stocks and crypto, achieve a verticality or a FOMO into the first quarter of 2026, followed by a bear market, not an apocalyptic or a crypto-centric styled bear market, because as we all know, Wall Street is here. Wall Street money, institutional money, is going to come flooding into many of our beloved altcoins, especially the ones that have Wall Street spot ETFs and the ones that are US based, amongst others. But But I like seeing this in gold because it does lend towards what we've thought, what we've believed on a macro basis, and that is what is coming. Yeah. So, but I wanted to start off with the gold chart. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so we're looking now. We already know Bitcoin dominance. I'm going to start with, let's see. Yeah. This is the Bitcoin dominance chart here. And we've talked about how Bitcoin no longer has dominance. This is the macro chart. I'm going to zoom out so you can see what these check marks are. But we can see Bitcoin coming off the macro descending trend there with some very, I want to point out the candles. Very similar bearish candles to, this level over here. And I don't even believe we've seen the biggest ones yet, okay? But we're now in that drop zone, and we're getting that type of volume, and the bounce volume is lighter, okay, or lower. So I do believe this trend of Bitcoin dominance continues to descend eventually, okay? And I do believe that's what we're waiting for, and that's what we are going to see. And I want you to remember, like I've said it many times, that doesn't mean Bitcoin is done. Bitcoin achieved its new all-time highs in 2021 during this Bitcoin dominance drop. All right? So just because Bitcoin's losing dominance does not mean it has achieved its all-time high. It achieved its all-time high last cycle while dropping on a new leg down, or the major leg down last time. So I do believe that's what we see coming soon. I think we see Bitcoin eventually making new all-time highs on its final leg or its FOMO leg, even while its dominance drops. And remember, all dominance means is more money is flowing into something than to something else. Doesn't mean no money is flowing into Bitcoin. Okay? It just means it's not the dominant player in crypto. We're going to zoom in on this a smidge because this is the monthly. Let's go back to the daily so you can see this. See why those check marks are there. Yeah. So there's the macro trend channel breakdown. Okay, this was the uptrend. When Bitcoin had dominance, this was the channel. But not only did it break that, re-mitigate, but it pulled back below there and set a new low. So this is trending now because you have leg 1 and leg 2. And we are currently waiting on leg 3. And look at these mitigations. This was the liquidation event. Mitigated. Trend channel, everything mitigated. Liquidation, and it's back down into a pullback. This is what a pullback looks like on a drop. Okay? Which is ascending. So we're watching this and now waiting for what? This guy. Yep. Very nice. Remember, we're confirming with. We're not pulling anything out of context. So let's look at this. So we've talked about the macro market context with gold achieving FOMO verticality. Stocks would be very close and crypto would be next. And all of our charts are confirming this. So since we've covered Bitcoin dominance, it makes sense to move to Ethereum dominance so that you guys can see. And I told you guys this was not just going to go straight up. This is, I'm gonna back out to the weekly. Yep. So this was the Ethereum's dominance while Bitcoin had dominance. It was in a down channel. I mean, you can even, yep. Bitcoin's was up, this was down. We've come way past that. Okay, we've got our bottom. Look at our volume. We've got our confirmation volume. We've got our chotch. We've got multiple legs. And this is just a new pullback. And I told everybody, because other than this pause right here, this pretty much just went straight up. But we can go back and look at last cycle, and that just ain't how it happens. Like, this is really rough. But Ethereum maintained the trend of dominance. That doesn't mean it can't pull back or dip. And we went right into a zone that I said we would, where I expected it to happen. And looky. absolutely beautiful mitigation of a previous level, and now set for what? A new run, a new leg. Yep. Very exciting stuff, guys. Very exciting stuff. So everything is lining up as it should be. People just aren't patient, and they're mad because altcoins keep getting slammed. Listen, I said this before. Altcoins will remain in accumulation status until altcoin dominance takes over. I know you hate it. I get it. But it ain't going to matter once altcoins take dominance. So shall we just go ahead and look at that? Others D. And you can see very clearly. I'm going to back this out so you can see what's coming. Yes, guys. This is what's coming. This is what's coming. Why would it be even more prolific than ever? Why? Because you can see how narrow this is compared to this. And why is this one so much bigger? Because you're coming from the same lows, but you're going much farther. Because the fundamentals of Wall Street money, trillions of dollars will come pouring into these spot ETFs for altcoins. Yep. Not all of them. Not all of them, but many of them. All right? So this is what's coming, guys. But it ain't here. I do believe the downtrend is over, but as I've said many, many times, altcoins are bottoming. And we got our first low, bounce up, almost testing the chotch, did not. We got our second bottom with liquidation event, back into a double bottom. Yep. So I anticipate we re-attack the chotch. I'm going to change these arrows into red ones. We got it. This is altcoins now. So I'm showing you what's going to happen. Remember, macro-wise, I have been dead on this entire time. This is why your altcoins keep getting smoked. Because it's forming a bottom. It's still the accumulation period for altcoins. Now, a select few have chotched and have trends, but the majority do not. The majority are still forming bottoms and even some forming new lows. It's the nature of the business. That's what happens when you're down here. The moment we get up here and break this chotch, that ends. That is over. You just have to wait for it. And eventually it will achieve its FOMO stage into probably the first quarter of 2026. But this is what is coming, guys. This is what is next. They said Ethereum never would. They said, everybody did. You know it because we covered it. They said, oh, Ethereum is not going to happen this time. And Ethereum would just continue to descend and descend and descend. Even though it reached a lower low. Because if you go to that low here, this is where everybody thought it was over. Look at that, touchdown. It actually went lower than the last cycle's low on dominance. And so everybody, and because of this, they thought Ethereum would not perform and that Ethereum's thing was over, it was done, it was all Bitcoin, everything else was a scam, and look what happened. And now, why did Ethereum pull back here? Why? Why? Well, duh, because Ethereum hit and tested its all-time high. This was never going to officially break on first touch. Why? Because none of this price action area had been dealt with. You guys know me. You know this stuff. So why you guys freak out, I don't know. It's because you listen to narrative. So this was a quick move. Bang, bang. Not a lot of time spent up here. So doesn't it make sense that price reject on first touch? deal with some of this area, grab lower liquidity, and all you now need is a renewed attacks at the ATH. Touch one, touch two, maybe a small rejection there, bang, and a breakout. That's all we're doing. I love this price action. There's literally nothing wrong with this. This is beautiful. Beautiful price action. It's gorgeous. It is what we need. It is the new foundation. This green is the new foundation for what? For a real breakout. And something that can hold up as new support. But that can't happen unless there is a rebuilt foundation. Now this is lots of foundation, but up here between 4K and 5K, there's not much price action. That is why we're dealing with that zone. It's that simple. Reaccumulation, dealing with that zone. That way when we do break out, we have concrete below us that can hold up for a run. Yep, it's not hard, guys. It's very, 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 very simple. What other views do we have? We don't really need that one today. Look at this. Look at this. This is beautiful price action. Break the massive triangle. Come on, guys, this is all the way back to 2021. Break the massive triangle. So we got touch one, touch two, touch three, boom, touch four. Hold what? Concrete support. Why? Because, again, this area has to be dealt with. Mitigate the breakout. Deal with the price action there. And ascend. Man, too easy. Too easy, too easy, too easy. We just got to wait for it. It's coming. Bitcoin. Let's look at the macro. Bitcoin has no end of cycle distribution. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care what they tell you on Twitter. There still is none. Zero, not even in the ballpark. Okay? Not even in the ballpark. On a macro scale, Bitcoin could come down to that 95K, possibly a wick to fill this leg up. This one did. So you have all this. This one pulled back, filled almost all of this. Look at this. This one pulled back, filled almost all of this. Not all, and I'll show you on the lower time frame. But these pull back and fill liquidity. Pull back, fill liquidity. This could pull back and fill liquidity. It can. I'm telling you what's possible. The chart shows it as a possibility and still be bullish. This can do this while Ethereum is leading into all-time highs. Yep. It could easily do that. That's something we haven't seen. We haven't seen Bitcoin drop $2,000 while Ethereum's up $200, $300, $400. But that can happen. It happened last cycle. It happened the cycle before. So these are things we're watching and waiting to see what happens. So we're going to zoom in on this a little bit. This is the weekly chart. We're going to go down to the daily chart. Yeah. I'm going to show you a couple of views here. This is kind of this is now about 150 something days, and that's this zone. Kind of an ascending area here. And there it is. I was showing you guys that. This is unfilled liquidity. Now it doesn't have to fill all of this, but you can see if this holds up as resistance here and this continues to break down, then you can expect a visit to the macro channel and possibly a liquidation event to fill it, possibly. But it doesn't always happen. Let's go back and look at this. This is liquidity. right here. This is liquidity. It only filled part of it. It only came down to here. So it didn't fill all of it, but it did fill some of it, okay? Yep. That's why I don't understand why people freak out. I really don't. This is liquidity. This was a global liquidation event across all markets, filling not only all of that, but pulling external liquidity from below all the way down to there. Yep. That's all that was, guys. So do we have profit taking up here? Yeah, we've had profit taking inside of all of these. There's been profit taking, but there has never been end of cycle distribution. So now we're watching to see. Who knows what Bitcoin's going to do? Look, if Bitcoin comes back up, the delineation between bulls and bears is the macro median, okay? The macro median of the channel. And that is this blue line in the center, greenish blue. That's this guy, okay? Below it, it's bear's ball. If Bitcoin gets above it, then we likely don't see it going down to the bottom of the trend channel. We likely see a reaccumulation of some type. Yep. Okay, and then we're off to 145, 150, which is what's coming next. Whether we go here first remains to be seen. Who knows? Right now, it's up to the bears. Okay? It's up to the bears. It's just a matter of waiting. Okay. That's it. It's not hard. It is not hard. Listen, altcoins are still in accumulation phase. Stop panicking. Stop freaking out. All of the macro events are playing out as they should. And the most exciting thing is we're seeing the market leader, which has been precious metals and especially gold, enter its verticality. It would do it first. Why? Because it's been the market leader. What is it telling you? It's telling you that's what's coming for everything else. As I told you before, we would see verticality in all markets. We would see it in precious metals. We would see it in stocks, and then we would see it in crypto. Into the first quarter of 2026, possibly the middle. Still too early to tell, but it's not hard, guys. Love ya. Till next time, baby. Here comes the boom.